Hello, hello. Okay, we're good. Let's make sure we can hear. Let me know if you can hear. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Oh, we got three people on already. When you're logging on, go ahead and tell us where you are logging on from. Welcome, welcome to the voice of the First Lady. This has been an interesting 2 hours for us. So I'm on here laughing and smiling because
Sound is good.
we're good. Okay. We have Jasmine on today. Look here. Hi, Pastor Parks.
That's my shepherd.
Oh, he is only her pastor. Let her tell it.
No gum, because I know how home training.
Home training.
No gum.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome to the voice of the First Lady. I'm going to have Pastor Parks do me like a little intro song or something for our podcast. We got new equipment. We got all kind of stuff going on in this room. We are going to jump into it, but before we do, I ask that you like and share. We are live on both Facebook and on YouTube. YouTube, the voice of a first lady.
Yes.
The voice of a first lady, or can they look under Crystal Parks?
Yeah, they can look under Crystal
Or you
Parks.
can look under Crystal Parks and on Facebook. I'm definitely Crystal Park. So we are definitely asking that you like and share. I hope everybody's day is absolutely wonderful. As you are logging on, we ask that you tell us who's in the room. Let us know. I'm also going to log in on my phone so I can see who is in the room.
And I have YouTube.
You have YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Gary Parks is watching. Hey, Gary Parks. All right. So let's jump right into it. Let me get my notes up because I think this is going to be a great um a great session to actually talk about some serious topics. We are talking about loyalty being misused. I thought that my assistant was the best person. She's not only my assistant, she is like a little sister to me. And I have known you, Jasmine, since when? September?
September. Right
I've known Jasmine since September. She is raised at our church. And she has been a very integral part just growing up. She's been a part of the youth there. And God put her on my heart as she came and talked to us to ask her to help me with administration things. So she has become our executive. I say our. You see that? Our. I got to share. She has become our executive administrative assistant. You seen that side eye because she love her pastor. Sometimes I don't be knowing. It's whatever. Oh, AI man is moving. Why did he just move like that? That was so scary. That is scary.
I serve the first family.
She does. She serves the first family, and I first want to say thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for everything that you do for the first family because she really does do a lot. And I'm not just saying that to say it. She does a lot for even my son. My son's going to college, and this is what this is one of the things that we're definitely going to talk about because I believe because of her loyalty to her pastor and her first lady and to God, she does serve very well. She serves very well, and she serves in the capacity of the area of helps. That's what I would say. She is definitely great in that area. There we go, Jazz. Did I cut you off? I think I did.
I'm not there anymore.
Wait, let me go the other way.
Bring me back.
Pastor is going to be so mad at me. Why is it doing that?
Do you have the AI mover on?
No, I have it off.
Click it off again.
So we have like this new camera, and it is AI camera, and it's a little wonky. Look. You guys get to see our room.
Dizzy.
Jasmine says she's dizzy. Okay, there you go. You're just gonna see the curtain. Let's see. Your mom is on.
Oh, hi, Mom. It's Mother.
Jazz, don't wave your hand.
Oh, hi, Mom.
I don't know what's going on with the camera. This is scary.
Normal.
Upper body.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give us a moment as we get everything set up. We had it set up, right? Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna call it
That's
right
wonderful.
there. Don't move your arms.
I'm not.
We don't want the AI man to get us.
Okay. I talk with my hands.
She does talk with her
So I'm gonna
hands.
talk underneath the table with my hands.
But I want to make sure. Okay, we're there.
That's good.
If she moves her hands, I don't know what to tell you guys. You're going to see all the room. This is my son's old room, and we are converting it to a podcast studio. So let's get into it. Let's talk about loyalty being misused. So I gave you guys kind of an introduction of, I believe, the loyalty that Jasmine not only has to us, but her loyalty to God to serve. And I believe that she is God ordained. So I felt that she would be an amazing person to talk about this subject. So, just let's get into it.
Okay.
You ready to get into it?
I'm as ready as I'll be. Ready.
Eh. Has loyalty become the new word people use to manipulate others? That's my first question.
So I think with the word loyalty, that people have turned it into like a buzzword.
Mhm.
And I don't know if people fully understand the definition of loyalty and that it's like a two-way street. I think people think that loyalty is what they're getting from another person or getting from something else, but they're not necessarily sharing it both ways. So, like, true loyalty, in my opinion, grows from trust. Manipulation grows from insecurity. And when someone constantly demands proof of your loyalty, I think it reveals something more about them than it does about you. So it's usually like an issue of control or insecurity, whether rather than it being about connection. Like that's what I feel about loyalty is when people misuse it. It's typically based on that. And I don't think healthy relationships and friendships require unlimited loyalty tests. Like
Mm.
Jesus wasn't asking his disciples like to constantly audition for his approval.
Come on and preach. He was what?
He wasn't asking
Hallelujah.
his disciples to constantly audition for his approval.
Okay.
They were his friends. They tried like they weren't like these employees that had to like, jump through hoops or, bounce a ball on their head. It was about like the relationship and the community that they were building.
So, with that being said, do you think that people are expected to be loyal to titles, or are they loyal to titles? And do you think that leaders are always expected to be loyal to people?
I I think that people are loyal to titles.
Okay.
And I think what happens is that when you're loyal to the title first, it is very easy for you to fall off track. Because if you're loyal to the title and not necessarily the purpose or the person, whoever has that title, you could potentially be blindly loyal to them.
Agreed.
So I think that, and I don't think that leaders always reciprocate loyalty. So, I mean, and I think, and also, I feel like people kind of start with like loyalty being a part of a hierarchy, like it flows up, but it doesn't flow out.
Ooh,
Yeah.
explain that.
So loyalty goes up. So like loyalty to your pastor, loyalty to your supervisor, but is that loyalty being spread across whatever community you're a part of, or is that loyalty trickling down or trickling over? Because loyalty should be something that's reciprocal. It should be something that flows both ways. That's a healthy relationship. Um, it's about leaders also serving people. So if everyone is constantly like loyal to the leader, but not loyal to, or the leader's not loyal to them, then it becomes this, like, once again, like this one way channel where it's not something where you're building community. And at the end of the day, before Jesus ever wore a crown, he washed feet first. He was serving people
Come
first.
on, come on, Bible scholar. Don't leave me hanging.
Not gonna leave you, and you don't high five people
I
except
don't,
for my father.
except for her daddy.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That was good, Jess. That was real good. So, with that being said, why do you think people leave?
Why do you think people leave?
I think that they leave sometimes because of abuse
Mm-hmm.
from the person that they're being loyal to, and not physical abuse. I mean, it could be physical abuse, but because of just the abuse of the position,
Mm-hmm.
the expectation um of that leader
Mm-hmm.
during that time. And I think oh, my supervisor is on here.
I'm so happy.
And I think she loves my supervisor. Oh, she loves her.
I do.
Hi, Supervisor Cynthia O. Brown.
Hi, supervisor.
But I do think that sometimes that is why people leave. I'm happy my supervisor came in on that cue because she does not abuse her power. Her and I have a joke because she'll tell me, you know, what to do, and I'll be like, "You abusing your power," but she is such a sweet person,
Mhm.
and she's also always very thankful,
Yeah.
like for what you do, and then she also like compliments like the people that are helping her, like,
Mhm.
girl, you got it. She's gonna always like pump you up to make sure that you know how much she appreciates what you're doing for her. And I think sometimes in leadership that does cause an issue when
Mhm.
people aren't thankful, or when people are barking orders
Mhm.
instead of asking what you know what they
Mhm.
would like to happen, or can you
Yeah.
assist them. So I do think that that's why people leave. But when they leave, do you think leaving is betrayal?
I don't think leaving is betrayal. I think that there are times that God closes a season so he can open up a new assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the real question or the discernment comes from isn't about like, did you leave, but how did you leave? And a lot of times people don't remember how you arrived somewhere, but they remember how you left. And so I think that some people kind of like lump it in that you left or you lost access to someone and therefore you're betraying them, but maybe that just wasn't your where you were supposed to be. So for example, if I was gifted in the music, if I could sing, just like, Pastor Gardner, if the two of us could sing, because I believe that we can.
I'm not loyal to them in that area
I understand that. But if the two of us could sing and we had to like
at all. I want to make that very clear.
let's say, for
Keep going.
example, we had to emergency direct the choir.
Mm,
Nobody else is there,
my
and we
law.
the only two y'all got. And we start doing that work. It's not a betrayal for me to exit out of that role because that is not my assignment. My assignment in that moment was to fill in a gap. But
Say it once. Say it again.
my
It was
assignment in that moment was to fill in a gap,
not to be permanent.
not to be
Amen.
permanent.
Hallelujah, saints.
But we could do other things, and there are other assignments that we may have. So I don't think
Amen.
it's a betrayal to leave. I think understanding like when to stay somewhere, understanding when it's about comfort, understanding when you are there for people. I think it's not a betrayal, and I think people have a tendency to think it's a betrayal because we have a tendency to be very us centered.
That's good.
We have a tendency be very us centered. So I have a friend, for example, who a couple years ago, if I didn't answer the phone, she thought I was mad at her.
Mm.
Now, if I don't answer the phone, she's like, "Oh, you must be busy."
Mm.
She's like, "Oh, August for you at work is really busy, so now I don't take offense that you're not available as much in the month of August.
Correct.
But it used to be because I work in housing at a college campus. July through the end of August is super busy. It's super compacted. So it's really hard for me to constantly be connected to my phone or hanging out with friends or being able to be physically present at spaces
Mhm.
and places. So I don't think that it's a betrayal. I think that sometimes it's about you knowing, using your discernment to know what's the next assignment.
So, my next question would be about dishonor,
Mhm.
right? So, what happens when someone dishonors you in a leadership capacity? Like, what is your response? How would you tell someone
Mm.
to respond to that leader?
Mm. I think it's important to have a relationship with your leader.
Mhm.
Because there are times that people, we're all human. People have off days. So I think understanding when to grant grace and when to like have a real like have an actual sit down conversation. I'm not one unless it's like repeated disrespect, repeated abuse. I'm not one to just wash my hands of a person or a leader, but I will ask questions. Like, hey, what was this about?
Communicate.
Communicate, because you never know what someone's going through. It could be, my on this day every year, my parent who passed away used to call me at this time every year. Like, it could be something like that. It could
Mm.
be, I lost
Understanding.
understanding. I lost my job 2 weeks ago. I thought I got a promotion. I thought that I was going to buy a home, or I thought, and so I think people show up in their day, whether you're a leader or not, with a lot of what's going on around you in the day. And I think it's very easy that when someone dishonors you, to be very easy to cut them off. But I think asking the question, communicating, now when it does become something that is like constant, I think that's when it's a conversation, and like, is this the right space for me? Or even for the leader, is this the right space for you?
So let's talk about history.
Okay.
So does history of disrespect outweigh present behavior? So for me, the one thing that I struggle with leadership, not in church. I'm going to talk about in the
Mm-hmm.
secular world. The one thing that I struggle with is constant disrespect in
Mm-hmm.
a certain way, and then to continuously apologize
Mm-hmm.
and then think that we could be good.
Oh yeah.
So I have created a
Mm-hmm.
boundary after like the fifth time.
Mm-hmm.
I've created a boundary
I've seen
because
you
if
do
you
that.
show me, yes, because if you
Mm-hmm.
show me who you are, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
believe you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, do you recommend, as someone that is in a serving
Mm-hmm.
position, do you recommend to remember that behavior and move on and to continuously serve,
Mm-hmm.
or do you go with the present behavior? Like, say they've been good for like 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
do you give them a chance? What do you do? Do you have a conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do with that behavior? Like, can they demand your loyalty after they've repeatedly dishonored you?
Yeah, I think when you mention like the fifth time, like creating that boundary, because I think now someone is showing you exactly who they are. I think for that, I have a tendency to provide more grace and maybe even more leeway if there is a relationship. But loyalty does not require you to ignore patterns of disrespect,
Correct.
abuse, or being dishonored. And forgiveness is biblical, but trust is built through change behavior.
Good job.
Like, you can't, thank
That
you.
was a great answer.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You approve? I'm
Say
so
it
glad.
again. Say it again. Forgiveness.
Forgiveness is biblical, but trust is built through changed
That
behavior.
was great.
And so a healthy current relationship can't survive on yesterday's reputation if today's actions continuously cause harm.
Mm.
So what you did in the month of September, if you're disrespecting and dishonoring me in January, I will remember September to December. But if we're still going, and it's March, April, like we've worked through Black History Month, and you're disrespecting me,
Don't play about her in Black History
do
Month. Let me
not.
tell you.
And I think a lot of times people prioritize emotional history and emotional proximity to emotional safety. So
Mm.
instead of having that emotional safety, they prioritize, well, I have a history with this person. This is what I know. This is who I know. And people do it with their families. People do it at work. People do it at church. It happens a lot. And I think within the church, we have a tendency to excuse it more because, well, we're serving God. Like, let me be like, I need to be gracious. I need to grant grace. I need to be really understanding. So I think in the church, it happens more often than not. I think when in the workspace, you're like, I'm getting a paycheck. And everyone in 2026 in California, with the cost of living, we need paychecks.
Correct.
So,
So, do you think we've glorified suffering in relationships, like even in churches and workplaces, by calling it loyalty?
ooh, I think in some ways we have. So I'll give an example of someone who works at a public institution, and I attended private religiously affiliated institutions. So
Mm.
Jesuit Catholic was college, Evangelical Christian was my master's and my doctorate. And
I have a smart executive admin assistant. I just want you guys.
I appreciate that.
She's smart.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing that I noticed is that we had a tendency at the religiously affiliated institution to excuse bad behavior. And a lot of it was put on, well, we are here serving the body of Christ together.
Mm.
So therefore, we need to forgive, we need to move past. But there was never any conversation about working towards something different, about reframing it and making respect and communication and finding a way to honor one another. There was never any centering of that.
So did you stay or leave?
Well, I need to finish my degree, so I stayed
Okay.
until my degree was over. When it came to church, I left.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that was my next question.
Yeah.
Did you stay because God said so, or because you needed something, or you would be judged if you left? So you stayed because you need to get your
I
degree.
stayed because I need to get my degree. For church, I left. And for me, it was the best thing for me at the time, because I think I had to ask myself, am I called to stay? Does God have me here and in this place and space for a reason? Or am I afraid of disappointing people if I leave?
Mm.
Or am I comfortable? Is this all that I know? I grew up at my church. So for me, it was the place that I also consistently saw. I'm at some point, I wasn't living with my parents anymore because I was, grown up. And church was somewhere that was very consistent. Like we saw each other, we worshiped together, we fellowship together. So for me, that was a big deal. Like, am I gonna not have that sort of like worship and experience with them if I leave? And so I think that sometimes we do have a tendency to glorify the suffering in those relationships. And there is a big difference between carrying your cross or carrying your load and carrying dysfunction that God never intended for you or never assigned to you. And I think there's a difference between like resilience and endurance and carrying what you should not be carrying.
That's good.
So, I mean, thank you.
What are you carrying?
Ooh,
Are you a bag lady? I mean, that's
I have
good.
way less bags than I did last year.
So I agree. High five again.
Oh my goodness.
Troy Cole, I hope you see me high fiving. It's only your daughter though. Ah, I don't high five people. I do not high five. The palm of your hand is very, here we go. The palm of your hand is successible. I can't talk, to a lot of germs. So I don't do a lot of high fiving. But I with that being said, do you think that some organizations reward loyalty with more work instead of appreciation?
Yes.
And look, I cut her off. This AI camera
Oh no.
is so crazy. Go ahead.
Um. Okay, so organizations reward loyalty with more work instead of more appreciation.
Yes.
I think the better you are at your job, the more work you usually get.
You think so?
I think so.
Hmm.
I think the better you are at your job,
Wait,
the
put your
more.
hand down. Let's see if AI will stop picking
That's
it
right.
up.
I think the better that you are at your job, the more work that you get.
Okay.
Because I think that you've shown that you are trusted, but I don't always think that the organization is taking advantage of is taking advantage of someone, because I believe that there are people who don't set boundaries.
Agreed.
Like I'm like me, for example, I'm not always the best with setting boundaries because I like to be good at the things that I do. I'm thankful that I like at work have a supervisor who will send me home. I'm thankful that I serve a pastor and first lady who will say, okay, well, we'll see you next Sunday, not this Sunday.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, go home, stay home, go to sleep. You tired, go to sleep.
Yeah. Like the tea. Even though you came the next day, I was like, Jasmine, you tired.
I don't even remember.
She was so tired.
I don't remember
Bless her
what
little heart.
I don't remember what we even did the next day at
She
church.
worked so hard too. And thank you.
You're welcome. You worked hard too.
I sure
It
did.
was so
Lord
great.
blessings. My legs still hurt.
And I think creating leaders creating a space where just because I need to take a day on Sunday, or if something slips through my fingers, I don't feel like there's a guillotine hanging over my head.
What is a guillotine? Explain to people.
A guillotine is like a an old contraption
This is her
that
word.
people would put their heads in, and then the little knife thing would like behead them.
So I call you my little sister
Hmm.
because you referred to me as your big sister,
Yes.
right? But I'm also her first lady.
There you go.
Um, and my husband is her pastor.
He's
With
my
the
pastor.
word, he is her pastor,
You're my pastor.
not plural. Do you hear that?
Hmm.
He's her pastor. With the word family,
Hmm.
how do and Jasmine and I, most people don't think that we disagree. Jasmine and I now my hands are moving the camera.
You can't.
Jasmine and I do disagree.
Hmm.
As much as people would not believe that, we
Hmm.
disagree on some things. With that though, are you still family when you disagree? I know the answer for me.
Hmm.
But would you, when people are in a serving capacity,
Hmm.
do you think that they still keep that word family?
I think that that real family makes room for real honest disagreements. And being the same and uniform is not the same as unity.
Agreed.
Because I think that when you're so uniform, it makes me question if there's someone in the dynamic that's not being heard. And I think that if acceptance disappears the moment that the disagreement appears, the relationship was built on compliance than it was on connection.
That's good.
Like if the minute that we disagree on something, then and everything goes out the window, was there any sort of foundation? Like there are things that we don't agree on, there are things that we do agree on, there are things that I mean we agree to disagree on. Um I think what like one of those things was your height in these chairs. So I'm gonna give an example.
She's really about to
I
give you a real.
am significantly taller than my first lady. Significantly taller. And one chair is a little lower and one chair is a little higher.
Nobody asked
So
you.
we switched chairs. But at first, it was a disagreement. Until you realize that you sitting in the and me sitting in the lower chair gives us even height. For those who know us, we are not the same height.
I'm 5'3".
Yes. We are absolutely.
She's like 5 inches. Are you 5 inches taller than me? Like 5 inches, I
I
think.
feel like a foot
5'8",
taller.
5'9". She thinks she's 6 feet tall. She is not.
When's it at? Because it's a
She
bit high.
she is not
Sorry.
6 feet tall. But
I feel like it.
with that,
Here we go.
we don't allow. Look, there you go. You moved out.
Sorry.
What is this camera doing? The blood of Jesus. Well,
But
at
I think
least,
healthy connections and communities don't ask, will you always agree with me? It asks, can we stay connected even when we don't agree?
yeah, I can give an
Mhm.
example.
Yeah.
Jasmine and I were talking about something one day, and she said something that was off-putting to me. And I was like,
Mm.
I gotta get off the phone.
You said I hurt your
Yeah,
feelings.
I told her, I was like, you hurt my feelings and I gotta get off the phone. But she called me back. I didn't answer.
I
I didn't
know.
answer the
I
phone.
was
I was like, I'll talk to you
distraught.
tomorrow. I text her. I was like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I think I texted you. Did I say I'll talk to
You
you tomorrow?
did.
Yeah. I was like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Because for me, I needed a reset. And it was not, and this is to leadership. So it was not, you don't agree with me. I don't agree
Mhm.
with you. I'm hanging up on you. My thing was because our relationship is still very new.
Mhm.
I did not want to say something to her because I'm very forward. I didn't want to say something to hurt her feelings in that manner. I wanted her to understand
Mhm.
what what was going on. And it wasn't even about me. It was just a situation.
Yeah. It wasn't even
And
about either of us.
yeah, it was just a situation.
Yeah.
And but I took the time the next day
Mhm.
to speak to her and tell her, and then she understood and I understood. Like there are so many things that we disagree on, but I'm not going to be like, you don't agree with me, so I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
Or like I talk to Jasmine every that my job knows who Jasmine is. Like
Maybe.
that's right. My other assistant at work knows my assistant at church.
Maybe.
Yes, they love each other. They were talking about Love Island today on the phone. I walked out the room and came back and they were still having a conversation. But I felt like as a leader, it was my time to
Mhm.
educate her, right? Not my time to reprimand or talk crazy or be like, girl, you crazy.
Mhm.
You shouldn't say that or you shouldn't act like that. It was just, no, this is a learning
Mhm.
experience. But I also feel like as a leader, there are some things. She was just sitting with me on a meeting and she was like, First lady, we're about to do the podcast. Don't get riled up.
Ah.
Don't get riled up. I'm sitting on my home association meeting
Ooh.
and I was getting riled up.
I was wrong.
And she was riled up. But at the end of the day, here goes the thing again. What is this? At the end of the day, look, it's going to always pan to the corner. I don't know what's in the corner. But at the end of the day, I felt like I had to listen to her because I knew that the podcast is fun for us, right? But it's also ministry because I do feel like church now is not church of yesterday.
Mhm.
Young people now are not young people of yesterday. You have to meet people where they are.
Mhm.
You have to meet them in the spaces that they're at. Everybody does not have the testimony of child. I would go to the club on Saturday night and when I came on Sunday, I knew that I better be sober. No, you got folks that went to the club Saturday night and came home at about 5 o'clock in the morning and they still smell like weed. They smell like alcohol. They cussing and fussing on their way in the door.
Mhm.
And they don't know, they didn't have the upbringing or the training. Or maybe they did and they just have like a serious struggle. So you gotta meet people where they are.
Mhm.
That I mean, that's just the way I feel as a leader. And so my advice to leaders is when you do disagree, especially when you have loyal people, be careful how you talk to them.
Mhm.
You don't have to allow them to run you over and they don't have to allow the vice versa, but be careful, like be nice, be just as loyal to them in respect as you want them to be with you because my mom always said that you get who you are.
Yes.
You attract who you are
Mhm.
to other people. And so that is something that I definitely feel about loyalty. Like it has to be both ways.
Yeah.
You
It's
can't just have someone that's loyal to you and you're treating them
Mhm.
like a piece of trash on the bottom of your shoe
Yeah.
and expect for them to continuously be loyal. Eventually they're going to bite back,
Mhm.
right? And so
And I
go
also
ahead.
think the loyalty like it expands. So for example, like you and I have a relationship, Pastor and I have a relationship, and what I find with that is that relationship has also opened other relationships for me as well, and like the loyalty that comes from that. So like I'll give an example. Like when Pastor had his surgery, we were together pretty much all day.
Oh Lord,
All
her
day.
and the shoehorn, her sword.
I want a sword so bad. They won't let me have one.
No, she
They're
cannot have a
responsible
sword.
because they're responsible people.
Yes.
But one thing, for example, like Camille Perry is
Hmm.
my sorority sister. Love Camille. We've met a handful of times, but one thing on the day of the surgery, Camille texted me to make sure I got home, and it was probably like midnight, 1 in the morning, and Camille was text me as soon as I left the hospital. Okay, tell me when you get my sister home, and then text me when you get in the back in the car, and then text me when you get home, and text me when you get like when you get
Because her
parked.
sister was like this
And
in the car
yes, Camille's
seat.
like, text me when you get to your garage, text me when you get into your apartment. And when Camille didn't hear from me, she's like, hello, hi,
Where are you?
where are you? Where are you?
Loyalty.
Loyalty. So she was really concerned. Like, I want to make sure, like, you've gotten my sister home and you've checked on my brother. Now I need to make sure, out of loyalty to them and loyalty to you as my sorority sister, that you also get home.
Right.
And so I think that that also comes with like when you're serving a leader, how you navigate and operate can also influence and impact how people treat you. So if I'm the type of person where someone's reaching out because they want to schedule something with you and I'm mean and nasty, then they will see me and treat me as someone who is mean and nasty. If I'm someone who's like, operating in a way that reflects and represents you all properly and appropriately. And what that is not just like, oh, I'm trying to represent the parks appropriately. I'm representing the fact that we are here to serve God.
So let's talk about that
Mm-hmm.
really quickly. So you just said you want to make sure that you're representing us
Mm-hmm.
and God
Mm-hmm.
appropriately. Here's the thing though, for leadership. If you want people to reflect that type of attitude, you also have to
Mm-hmm.
be that, right?
Yes.
Don't allow them to see you doing one thing behind closed doors,
Mm-hmm.
because I think sitting in an assistant seat, you see a lot more than the public
Mm-hmm.
sees. She literally was with us through every portion of my husband's surgery. She saw Pastor after he came off of what is it, the anesthesia.
Yeah.
I mean, we were laughing. It was absolutely hilarious. I wish I would have caught footage.
The HIPAA violation.
She was HIPAA violating. She was looking at people.
I didn't know
She
you
didn't
couldn't. I
know
didn't know
that you
you
couldn't
couldn't
look
look
at the
at people.
people. It was a lot going on in there, but she could have definitely, told the whole experience. And it wasn't any secrets to that experience, but everybody don't like their business
Mm-hmm.
told, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, if you don't want your business told, don't tell nobody else's
Exactly.
business. Right. And so then they know that you're that type of person,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going to
Mm-hmm.
respect that. But to assistants, let me say this as a first lady and as an executive,
Mm-hmm.
as an executive, you all will have information that nobody else in this world most of the time
Mm-hmm.
will have. Jasmine has information that if something happens to me, she knows what to say to my children
Mm-hmm.
and knows what to say to my husband to make sure that they're all together,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's pertinent information that most people don't have, other than like my godmother or my best friend
Mm-hmm.
or my sister. um but in that space, you also, if you want confidence, you got to give it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we have to be, I think, vigilant on both sides
Mm-hmm.
to know. Don't reveal my brother's sedation. I won't. Camille. He was all right though. He was all right. He just had this crazy, I can tell this, he had like this crazy look on his face. He was just like looking at everybody like,
Why is
what they
everybody?
doing? What
Yeah.
they doing?
He's like, why is
I can't
everybody
tell you
here?
one part though. One part was absolutely hilarious, and he had to call me. He had them call his wife, and
Mm-hmm.
that's literally what he said. Call my wife, and he was not gonna let the nurse help him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was quite funny. But in that, I mean, in that, you're definitely going to be in spots and in places,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to know certain things. There go the camera again.
Hello. Hi.
You're gonna know certain things that others don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hopefully, your pastor and your first lady are not telling you the counseling secrets that they have had with
Mm-hmm.
the members. There's certain things that I will not,
Mm-hmm.
especially in regards to other people, that I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
share with you. And honestly, to be very honest, she doesn't ask. If she
None of
sees
this
me
is.
go behind a closed door with someone to have a conversation, she doesn't call me and say, First Lady, what happened in there with Sister So and so?
None of this is.
That there is, but I think her mother, Deborah Cole is on here. Her mama would get her if she did that.
Yeah, no, mind your business.
Yeah, mind your
Mind
business.
your business.
We have to be in a place
Mm-hmm.
where we understand the sacredcy
Mm-hmm.
of being
Yeah.
in these positions, but we also have to understand that loyalty does not mean abuse,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I feel like leaders, let me say this, appreciate the people that assist you, appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just think that they have to do something for you because they're in that spot. And then when you're appreciated assistants, appreciate the fact that the leaders are doing that, because it's not a whole bunch of people out
Mm-hmm.
there that do that. Jasmine and I are very close. Like, there are some things that Jasmine would be like, First Lady, I can pay for my own food.
I can't. I'm an adult.
That's her that's her thing.
But I don't want to pay for my own detergent. I really don't. Like I can make my own food, but I really need to just like every couple months, like maybe like once a month, like a bottle of detergent.
She steals my detergent.
Because she buys so many. Like she has so many bottles that she's not used. Like they're just sitting there. And so I'm leaving here with something. A beverage, some sort of bubbly water.
She has buble. What's our thing? Look,
Yeah.
we have buble
We
today.
have buble.
We
I'm
have
leaving here with a
buble.
bubbly
Buble.
water and I'm leaving here with some detergent.
You're leaving today with
No, no,
detergent?
I'm good. I'm good now. I need
I
like
was about
maybe
to say she just left a week
no,
ago
I
with
know, yeah. That
detergent.
was 2 weeks ago. So I'll re up in
Uh,
August and then again in September for my birthday. But what I also
I
find
can't.
when it when it comes to admins or like executive assistants or anyone who's serving leaders, it is a I always tell people it's a privilege and an honor to serve the first family. And what I also tell people is that when you know that you have leaders who are trusting in you to keep
Mm.
things and to like hold things and to be there to support,
Mm-hmm.
you never want to do anything that fractures that trust
Jeopardizes,
or
yeah.
that jeopardizes is the way you carry yourself or like what information you keep. So that's something that like as those who serve being mindful of because sometimes for leaders it's really hard to let your guard down because I also think like and I have a friend, hey Danielle, if you're watching, on the East Coast, and she's also an executive assistant for a first family.
Oh, that yeah.
Danielle, I love Danielle. Danielle's so great. But one thing Danielle said is she was like, it was really hard for my first lady to like trust people
Hello.
because as a first lady, she would say people are sometimes not interested in serving me. They want to know what me and my husband fighting about. They want to know what my kids are getting
They want
into.
the business.
They want the business, and it was hard for her to like trust because she was very nervous. Like if I get into a if me and my husband bump heads about and her first lady tells this story publicly. She's like, me and my husband butted heads one time about what was better, like what is it, Jack in a Box or Carl's Jr.
Mm.
And there are people at the church, like the pastor and first lady, they're on their way to a divorce. And she was like, we argue about what's better, Raising Cane's or Taco Bell. Like she's like, that's the run that's our little running joke that we've had since we've been dating, and they've been married for 30 years.
Oh wow.
And she's like, but people
I
think
don't
like,
ever married that
mhm.
long.
She's like, people will think like, oh, we're on our way to a divorce. And that was something that she was like mindful of, like I don't make certain jokes in front of people
That's
because
right.
they don't get it, or like someone like you see your first lady crying in church, everyone assumes like, what did my pastor do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it could be work related, it could be an off day, it could be as a leader you're carrying so much that maybe today is the day that God is like, okay, go ahead and release it. Like now's the time to go ahead and flesh that out right on out.
Listen to that discernment she got as an assistant. Listen
Go
to that.
ahead and flush that on out. And so
Uh-huh.
so that also comes with like when you're serving a leader. First of all Chick-fil-A. Yes, Camille, Chick-fil-A is
Hi Birdie. We
top
see you're
10.
late, but you're here. We
Hi,
appreciate it,
Brandy.
girl.
Hi.
No, keep going.
Oh, so I got to check. I'm happy Brandy's here. Okay. But yeah, so I find that when you're serving a leader is being mindful also of where they're like sensitive or vulnerable areas. And just being mindful of how you can help support that versus exploiting that. Because I think sometimes people want to exploit or be like, oh, I'm the person that knows information first. And it's not about that.
That's what I was just about to
Yeah.
say. So when Jasmine became my assistant, we did not tell everybody that publicly
Mm-mm.
first because it was like a trial run. I was like, okay, Jess, these are the certain things because she helps me like in my personal life, not just at church. Like she's doing things for with my son for college because she works in that realm, right? And so there's things that I have to do, like bookings and stuff that I do. There it goes on my own. And she helps me with those things. So we did like a trial run at first to see, and then Pastor needed some assistance. And so she had to help Pastor in that thing. There are things that Pastor will ask her to do that I don't know until there is a meeting. And in my brain, I'm like, oh, she didn't even tell me. But she's confidential like that.
Mm.
She's like, what my first lady does is confidential. What my pastor does is confidential, unless they tell me like, hey, call first lady or tell
Mhm.
first lady this when you're in your meeting with her or something like that. But I appreciate um the not getting in between.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, and you have to learn, like, in this thing, you're going to have a relationship with your pastor and your first
Mhm.
lady, right? When you're walking in this vein.
Mhm.
But you can't get in the middle and try and
Mhm.
like be messy.
Mhm.
Right. And that's one thing that I want to give you your accolades for
Thank
that,
you.
really for real. Because there are, there are times where I'm sure there might be something on the meeting agenda, and I'm just like, why? And it's necessary.
Mhm.
After I figure out it's on the agenda and I'm in the meeting,
Mhm.
it's necessary.
Mhm.
Right. But she don't go first lady. Guess what Pastor put on the meeting, on the agenda? That's not who she is. And so with that, staying in your role, not
Mhm.
in your place, because you're not a dog, you're not a little
But in your
baby,
lane.
but in your lane. Yeah,
Yeah.
staying in your role,
Mhm.
in your
Mhm.
lane, in that area, knowing who God has
Mhm.
made you to be in that capacity. I appreciate that about you. And I definitely admonish other assistants,
Mhm.
even in the secular world, when you're working as an assistant, confidentiality in
Mhm.
all aspects is key.
Yeah.
It's definitely key. And you can't also, here's another thing, you cannot be haughty in your position.
Mm-mm. It doesn't
I
work.
work for the pastor and the first lady. So I'm a treat people any old
Mhm.
kind of way. If I don't like them, I'm gonna say what I want to say to them.
Mm-mm.
No, you cannot, because again, it goes back to what you said.
It's a reflection of your first
It's
of
a
the first family.
reflection of that office,
Mhm.
right? And so you, as close as I work in
Mhm.
my jurisdiction, I can't
Our jurisdiction.
the old heard our
Our
jurisdiction, honey.
jurisdiction.
My
Shout out.
brother's her bishop too,
Shout out to
supervisor's her
SCJ.
supervisor. She just, she has just taken over
I love
everything
it.
we have. I just want y'all to
Constantly.
know. But with that, you got to be
Mhm.
confidential. With me working on my in the jurisdiction that I literally grew up with, old Crystal that was immature has to become mature
Mhm.
for certain situations. I can't, if I feel a certain way, I can't always say that I
Mhm.
feel a certain way. And I've taught that to her. I've seen her grow in leaps and bounds in certain areas where it's like, Jazz, nope, you don't even have to respond.
Mhm.
There's nothing that you even need to say. You got to
Mhm.
let people be people. And I give huge accolades to my village
Mhm.
for that, because I had to learn that I did not have to respond. Everybody does not deserve my response
Mhm.
or like how I feel. Camille said, we work for the Lord.
Mhm.
Here goes this thing again. We work for the Lord. We do.
Whatever we do in word and
There we go.
deed,
Because I can't see. I don't have on my glasses.
we work for the Lord. Whatever we do in word and deed, we do to the glory of God.
That's
Amen.
good. That's
Thank you for the word.
Camille's Bible class
Mhm.
coming out. She is an avid Camille goes to Bible study 7 times a week. She is really great with the sayings. No,
No,
seriously,
I
I'm
know.
not even playing. I'm being very serious. She about to say something crazy though, because I just said she goes seven
And she's
times a
also
week.
like quick to put a scripture that
She
perfectly
got good
like
scriptures.
meets the moment.
She has great
I'm like, this
scriptures.
is wonderful.
Does anybody have any questions out there? I'm gonna read some of this is how it should be. Yes, this is how it should be. Never exploit anyone
Or
or
anything.
anything. And that's even in, you're not logging off. You're gonna be on. I can call you right now. You're still gonna be on. I love you, Millie. That's my god sister. Um, Never exploit anyone or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's even in anger,
Yeah.
right? You have to understand there might be somebody that hurts your feelings, or even somebody that hurts my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Leaders, we got to even think about something like this. You, just because they hurt your
Mm-hmm.
feelings, you can't just say, well, I know this about you, or
Mm-hmm.
that's why you're this way, or that's why you're having these type of issues, because da 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 da. You have to always understand that your mouth can get you in a lot of trouble.
And
And
it can
then,
hurt.
yeah, And
Like
you can't take those words
yeah,
back.
it's like once you cross that line,
Yes.
as someone who knows a lot of vital information or a lot of private information or confidential information, like Evangelist Mary Howard was saying, confidentiality is very important. Once you cross that line, you can't necessarily go back. It's like when you find out somebody is like a liar and you like, now I'm questioning everything you've said before.
Everything.
Now once you cross that line and you break that confidence, can I now trust that you're going to keep that confidence moving forward? And I
Correct.
think for me, as someone who, like, my dad's a deacon at the church, my mom's an usher and a deaconess, and they've been in leadership roles for years. And what I have respected about them is they don't share their
Mm.
information. So even when I became the admin for you, that was a conversation my mom and I had. And she was like, make sure you're mindful that even when you're talking to me, because I talk to my mom like probably
Every day,
every
all
day, like
day.
3 or 4 times a day. Like she's my bestie. And one thing that she made a comment to
There
me
goes your
was
hand. And it's off.
one
The
thing
AI tracking is off. I don't
um,
understand.
one thing she made a comment was, even when you're talking to me, be mindful that you're not sharing something that you shouldn't be sharing. Or even with her and my dad, like, hey, like, oh, what were you doing today? I was at church for a meeting. My dad leaves it at that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was at church for a meeting. Now he might say, oh, I got, because I got to see Deacon Mike, got to see Pastor. Like he gets like excited to see his like
His
his deacon
friends.
homeboys, his friends. Like these are my friends. But he's not one to like let me give you every piece of information that we talked about.
Correct.
And so I think that also as those that are more like mature, older in the church and working in these roles or in these capacities, your children are watching, whether your children are older children, whether you have grandchildren, they're watching, and the younger people are watching how you carry yourself as someone who serves, to then know how to also step into a role that serves.
So speak to that
Mhm.
because the younger people now, a lot of our young people are going to college. It's sad. But the younger people now, I find it very, what's a good word? Very, well, not even strange. Very, I'm very humbled that we have the amount of young
Mhm.
people that come to our church and they are very involved,
Yes.
right? How do you appeal to that group? And I know how
Mhm.
you do because I'm watching it. I saw
Oh, how
something
do I do it?
a few weeks ago. Let me just say this. She is always thinking about the next generation, right? With her, what was that?
Something that was
Oh, the
beeping.
iSpot. Oh, it's
Oh,
that.
okay. Whew.
Okay. We got cameras
Okay.
everywhere.
Oh, we about to shut down.
Half of them are connected. But with that, I saw you the other day with Naomi a few weeks ago. One of the young ladies at our church. How old is she? Like 12,
Naomi's
10?
12.
Okay, she's
Mm-hmm.
12. And she saw her sitting down and she grabbed her camera and she positioned her where she was and she began to teach her to do what she was doing. Here I go. Oh, the thing
Yeah.
in the middle of service. She began to teach her what to do.
Mhm.
And I felt so glad about that because it was like, oh, she's training her up. She's showing her. And she always says, I'm not going to say who she says, the next. She always says that whoever the next pastor is, she's going to be like this little old lady. It's like,
The
I
former
used to be
pastor's
the
admin.
former's admin or the pastor and the first lady,
So
and now this is you. So she believes in passing the torch.
mhm.
That's where I'm going. Pass the torch eventually somewhere. You can't always sit in the seat forever. It gotta be some type of succession plan,
Mhm.
which means that you have to teach that younger
Mhm.
generation. But why do you think? Because you work in the college, I mean, you are smack dab right in the middle of it.
Yes.
Why do you think that they don't want to learn
I don't think that they always don't want to learn it. I think
it?
sometimes I think it can be like a twofold, threefold. You have some that don't want to learn it. You have some that the thing that you're trying to teach them is not their niche. Or sometimes it's the way you're teaching them how to do something. So, like for example, like with Naomi, Naomi is doing some of the filming in addition to her doing some of the filming, because Naomi's like 12, she's about yay high, not very tall. So, trying to make sure the angles are right and things like that. One thing that I have done is making sure that she has like a second camera, that even while I'm getting the master footage, she can get a chance to operate the camera to get a familiarity around it. Like, for example, in 2 Sundays, she's going to be up in the balcony with Deaconess Tracy Brown, and
Mhm.
she's going to be like helping her run our proclaim. Like, she's going to learn the ins and outs of that because it's something that's exciting for her. And then you have someone such as like Haley. Haley's really good at catching video footage and pictures and everything. And so for Haley, I'm like, hey, I need to go to the restroom. Can you just grab some
Mhm.
pictures? And she's like, oh yes, I would love that.
Mhm.
And so I think finding what people are good at and what they're interested in, and even if they're not like the best at it, sometimes, that's the like learn like getting an opportunity to get hands-on experience is really important. And so I think, for example, like on Sunday, we were trying to get the camera to work, and we have Minister Chapman who came over and was like, okay, let me teach you how to adjust it. Because it was a different type of camera than we're used
Mhm.
to, he showed us a way to be okay, well, let me show you how to grid it so it's easy for her to use it. Because pastors
Mm.
taller than first lady, or he maybe moved that wasn't shade.
Everybody is
He
taller
was taller than
than
first lady,
me,
or maybe
according to Jazz.
he moves a little differently. And so
Especially now. She's so happy her pastor about to preach
I'm
on
so
Sunday.
happy.
She don't know
Be
what to
there on
do.
Sunday at 10:15 at Friendly
Look
Temple.
at her giving
My
him a
pastor is
clap.
returning back to the pulpit, y'all. It's gonna be so great. And if you can't be there in person, which will suck for you, you should be on live stream because my pastor is. We are so back, so back, guys, so back.
She loves her
I said we're
pastor.
so back. But like he came, like Chapman came over, and he's a photographer. So he came over, he didn't try to take over. He was like, let me help you get her, let me
He
help you
assisted.
give her a guide for how she can shoot this footage. And I
Mhm.
think that that's what it takes, is allowing people to do the thing and then start to help them hone the skills. Like
Yes.
when Naomi, I gave her the camera. I said, get comfortable walking. Because Naomi is like, pastors at the organ. Naomi's all the way far
She's
back.
doing it
I'm like,
too.
Naomi,
Yeah.
walk closer to pastor. She's like this. Can I be up in the front?
Yes.
I'm like, absolutely. And so getting her more comfortable with understanding how to move and how to navigate around the space, I think is really important. And I find that when like as I spend more time with you and I'm around people, so I'll give an example. Like like, I don't think a lot of people tell no very often.
Here she goes. I hope my supervisor's not on here
I
anymore
love
listening.
Supervisor Brown. Okay. She's one of the few
Oh,
people, if the only person I've heard tell no. And it's so great. But she does it because she wants to like fully support, and you do the same thing. And
yeah.
so I find with some of the younger, not just kids, but young adults or children at the church, I also like have a tendency like, no, I don't, no, you don't, no, I don't need that. I'm gonna give you some,
Yeah.
go get a soda. Here,
Yeah.
here's a. Oh, I'll just pay you back. Why you paying me back? It's $1. Go get yourself a
Right.
soda.
Right.
So I think that's also, it's like a full circle. So when we see it, we replicate the behavior.
Agreed.
And if we
Thank you for
see,
that.
yeah, when we see it, we replicate the behavior. Like
Even though
even
you
just
made fun of me.
I, the height thing.
No. When
Oh, the no
supervisor
thing. Oh
told me
yes,
no.
yes, 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 absolutely, yes.
My bestie said, she says, as Bishop says, you were look, here I go. As Bishop says, where you are, I once was, and where I am, you one day will be.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, let them see us serve with gladness as well, so they won't think it's a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. So I'm just gonna give you all your accolades.
Mm-hmm.
She never acts like it is a chore. Although I know sometimes I call her hedgehog because when she's like frustrated, her eyes get this big,
They're
like the little
so
hedgehog
big.
on
Sing.
Sing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can tell like when she's overwhelmed when I see her eyes this big, right? But she never ever acts like it's a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. But I also try not to make her feel like you got to do this
Mm-hmm.
for me. Like I really appreciate the things she does. But I also feel like in this position, let's go to
Mm-hmm.
another another point. When I see this a lot, and it's so sad, I see it a lot in the African American church when people are preaching loyalty, right? Why do you think they preach loyalty more than they do accountability? I know you could go right off the cuff with this.
Ask me one more time.
Why do you think they preach loyalty? Some churches
Mhm.
preach loyalty more than they do accountability.
I think they preach loyalty more than they teach accountability is because when the leadership knows they're not in alignment with God, they're asking their people to be loyal even when they're not doing the right thing.
So, with that being said,
Hmm.
should pastors earn loyalty or is it automatic because of the title?
I don't know if loyalty is automatic, but I think the openness and consideration to have an affinity and loyalty towards your pastor because they have like the title pastor. So like and also I think it's just how you carry yourself.
Okay.
Like I'll give an example. My niece came to church one day and some first ladies or pastors like, I'm Pastor Parks. I'm First Lady Crystal. Like that's how you will address me. And my niece was outside, right outside the door, and you came up and you said, "Hi, you are so pretty." And she said, "Thank you." And you were like, "What's your name?" She said, "Tanae." "What's your name?" "Oh, I'm Crystal." And you just walked away. And that was it. And so Tanae we were talking, she's like, "Oh, where's the first lady?" I said, "That was the first lady." She said, "She introduced herself as just Crystal." Like, oh my goodness, that was the first lady. And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, because that's not my name.
Yeah.
It's not my name. I mean, I appreciate and I don't have
Mhm.
a problem with I feel like some people should call me first
Yes.
lady. I think that there does have to be a
Mhm.
line drawn with certain
Mhm.
individuals, but I feel like there is a time where you have to have discernment to
Mhm.
understand that your title could intimidate.
Yeah, because it can make people go, "Ooh."
Right. It could intimidate,
Mhm.
it could make them draw away
Mhm.
and be like, "Oh, I can't be
Mhm.
my authentic self," because sometimes we need to see your authentic self so we can know how to pray.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
so I know I feel like I have discernment
Mhm.
in where to do that at,
Mhm.
like in what space to do that
Mhm.
in. And I really I appreciate the fact that people are like, "Oh my God, she said her name was Crystal." Well, that's
Yeah, she was
my
like,
mother named me Crystal.
"Oh
My
my
father
goodness."
actually.
She just introduced she just came up to you. She said I was so pretty. And I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah."
cause she is.
Yeah.
Tanae is beautiful. She's a beautiful young girl. And I feel like too, that's another thing, intimidation.
Mhm.
Intimidation from leadership. If you can do something better than I can, let me tell y'all something. If I looked at my emails, I have thousands upon thousands of emails. It's not because I have not read them,
Mhm.
it's because that's how I find them, right? Jasmine probably has 2 emails in her inbox. She wants to get my inbox so bad, but it would
Clean it out.
so frustrate me. It would
Mhm.
frustrate me so much because I can just go to the search bar because I
Mhm.
know what I'm looking for, and I'll be
Right.
like, "Oh, okay, commencement next week out of sync,"
Makes my
A-
hair itch.
and it'll
Trust
come
that
up,
bitch.
yes, and then she'll be like, "First lady, I can't find it," and I'm like, "Just type in commencement," and then she does it, and she's like, "Oh." But that's me. That's
Mhm.
my organized chaos.
Mhm.
For her, she plans. I called her last week and I was like, "Oh, send this email for blah 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 blah." And then Monday she's like, "First lady, is this email okay?" I didn't tell her to send it that day, but I'm like, "She just now sending that
Yes.
email." But she organizes the way
Mhm.
that she does things because I throw so much at her and I'm so
Oh,
full of like
well, that's a
ideas
boundary.
and stuff. Yeah.
That's a boundary for
Yeah,
me.
she does set a
Yeah.
boundary.
So like Sundays, we're so like, we're in Sunday service. Like it's the it's the best day of the week. And so for me, after church, like I do the like, make sure we're wrapped up, all that stuff. And then Monday, for me, Monday is usually like I'll check in with you, I'll
Yep.
get some tasks or some items or some things we need to discuss.
Or she'll check in with my assistant at work
Yes. I'm
and I
like,
don't even
I'm
know.
like, so where is she at right now? I'll do that. And then I usually the rest of Monday, I'm not fully or totally accessible and not plan it out. And what I've also worked on, and I recommend this for anyone who is a little type A like me, and is serving
She is
somebody
type A,
who,
bless her little heart.
yeah, who is serving someone who has a lot of really great ideas and a lot of ideas to grow ministry. One thing that I had to learn is to give you the space and time to shift and make changes. So for me, sometimes when you're like, oh, I need you to send this, oh, send this email, I'll draft it and it'll be in the inbox. And I give myself 48 hours. If it's urgent, then of course it gets sent urgently, but I give myself 48 hours. So what I've learned is there are times that, you know what, I think I want to pivot, or I was praying about it, or I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and the Lord, this is the direction we're going in. I'm like, perfect. Did you send the email? No, I did not send the email. I was giving you 48 hours.
And but she knows that about me. And sometimes I be like, oh, well, thank you, Lord, that she knows that I will
Yeah.
change my mind.
And I will say for leaders, don't just talk to your people when they're serving you.
Yes.
Because there are times, many times, that we talk that has nothing to do with, the podcast or the tea or Women's Day. Make sure you mark your calendars, everybody.
What day is Women's Day?
Sunday, November 23rd at 3:30 p.m. at
That's
Holy
the
Temple
annual Women's
Missionary
Day.
Baptist Church.
And when is Women's Convention?
Oh, July 15th through the
She
17th.
got it.
It's gonna be so great.
She got it.
But don't just talk to your folks when they're serving you. There are times that we don't talk about certain things because you want to give me the space just to be your little sister.
Right.
And then there are times where we talk about certain things because it's like, okay, hey, I need advice on this. Oh, I'm about to give you advice, but I'm really, we gonna get this advice as your first lady.
But and that's what I was just about to
Mm-hmm.
say. You have to make a distinction because she will say, "Can I talk to you as my sister today?" And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay, yeah." But then when she talks to me as her sister, I might flip and say, "Can I give you my first lady answer?"
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't really like that part, but
Sometimes I
it
just want to be
has
mad.
to. It what?
Sometimes I just want to be mad and riled up. And you're
No, but
like,
you don't.
no,
That's
no,
too
no.
much energy to give
I
to
know.
somebody
I
that
know.
don't even, or something
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't even make no sense, right? So, last question.
Mm-hmm.
Finish the sentence in one word.
Wait, before you say that, Camille said, Lord, deliver her inbox,
Don't
Jesus.
deliver my inbox, Jesus. I've been happy with my inbox for all my life since I had it.
And then most people call me Sister P, and I'm fine with that. Never offended if I'm not called First Lady.
Oh, that's my
Mm-hmm.
girl. That's First Lady Marks.
Mm-hmm.
I love her. I love her. And she is like that. She really is like that. So how does one gain an extraordinary EA, executive assistant like you, asking for a me? Well, the Lord sent her to me. I didn't go looking for her. The Lord really sent her to me. But I will say
And Barbara
this,
Reiser helped with that.
and Barbara Reiser
Shout out to
helped
Barbara
with that.
Reiser.
Yes. But I will say this, Camille, and this is like all truth. During COVID, I journaled a lot during COVID. And during that time, I wrote out everything that I wanted to do for the next 10 years, or everything that I wanted to have for the next 10 years. In that was an assistant, because I know how I God had already shown me what was going to go forth. Here I go. What was going to go forth with ministry with Gary. I just didn't know where, I didn't know when, I didn't know how, I didn't know who, but I knew that there was going to be a shift, and I knew that I would be much more busier
Mm-hmm.
than I was. So I know that with all the things that I do, that I was going to need an assistant as well. So I wrote those things down. The Bible tells you to write the vision and make it plain. And I did. And as I go back, there's only a few things left in my goal that I asked God to help me complete in those 10 years. We purchased our home. The amount of money that we put down was exactly what I asked for. And when I got ready to purchase my home, I didn't ask for that amount. They told me this is what you'll need,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so like God God is how I did that. And it might sound like, well, Camille know that. I mean, for Camille, she's not going to say, "Oh, that's crazy." But for some people that might sound spooky
Mm-hmm.
or weird or deep in shallow water. But God really gave me the desires of my heart with those things. And a assistant was on that list. And God didn't bless me with just one. He blessed me with two, and I'm thankful because I could not do being a chief operating officer in the
Mhm.
medical field. I couldn't do what I do without my assistant Beatrice. And the two of them have to connect in order for my life to work. Like my calendars have to connect. And it's done so well that my assistant will show up at church and I don't even know why she's there. Jasmine done told her, oh, First Lady's speaking, or we're having this, or sometimes my assistant's family shows up
Mhm.
and we don't even invite them. But a lot of that is because of the PR that Jasmine has done without us even asking her. So I suggest write it and pray.
Mhm.
That's that's my suggestion. Just
Mhm.
write it and pray and have faith that God is going to do it for you in the timing that you need it. I didn't need it during COVID.
Mhm.
I was the assistant during COVID. Me and Gary, I mean, we were arm in arm, neck and neck. We remodeled a whole
Mhm.
church. We got grants. We gave away 1,200 boxes of food for
Mhm.
12 weeks every Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it was life was lifing, but I
Yeah.
was the assistant at that moment,
Yeah.
you know, and it didn't require all that. But now life requires that.
Mhm.
So I thank God, for that. So that's how I got that.
Mhm.
So finish this sentence,
Okay.
Jazzy. Jazzy Jazz Girl, as Snow Snow calls
Snow,
her.
snow girl.
Loyalty without what is dangerous?
Oh, loyalty without what is dangerous. Loyalty without self awareness is dangerous.
Okay.
Mhm.
Give me another one.
Loyalty without boundaries is
That's
dangerous.
good.
Loyalty without respect is dangerous.
You want one for the leaders?
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty without reciprocity is
Mm-hmm.
dangerous.
Clock that.
Loyalty without
Mm-hmm.
reciprocity is dangerous. If you have someone that is loyal to you in especially in a church position, because this thing is not easy. Church is a whole nother beast. I don't care if you're black, white, orange, or blue. It is a whole nother
Mm-hmm.
beast. You are dealing with so many different people, and it's not like just work. At work, sometimes you got to overlook the attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deal with the attitude. Yeah, if you're in a certain position, you can write them up, you can counsel them,
Mm-hmm.
you can do something like that. But in church, you have to deal with the soul
Mm-hmm.
and the inward man of a person, right? And so, with that, when you have someone that is as good as my assistant, that is as loyal as she is, reciprocity is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing, whether it's money, whether it's just time to herself. There are some days, I don't think last week, I think I just kind of chilled out. You were on vacation from work.
Mm-hmm. Like a week and a
And
half
she
ago.
was trying to give me, like, First Lady, what's our topic for Wednesday? I don't know. I don't know what the topic's gonna be. I just was like, Leave me alone and leave yourself alone. Like, do you. She's planning a wedding. Like, do your stuff.
Well,
Like,
you even changed the topic to my wedding.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was like, what do you have to do
Mm-hmm.
for your stuff? So make sure that you're giving what you're receiving,
Mm-hmm.
right? Be loyal. Be loyal, good people. Don't just take
Mm-hmm.
and never give. You got to get to the point. I'm about to punch this camera.
Don't punch the
You got to
camera.
get to the point where you give what you've been getting back. And that's the one thing that I love about Gary Parks. Y'all know I ain't gonna never not talk about my man, my man, my man. The one thing I love about him, he's always trying to appreciate people for what they do
Mm-hmm.
and how they do that. Sometimes I don't agree, but I appreciate the fact that he appreciates people,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I do believe in reciprocity. You got anything to say before we get off?
I would say that to kind of go back to what Camille was asking about finding an executive assistant, one thing also is be mindful that when you find that person, that it is someone that God is sending you. Because a
Yes.
lot of times the skill set will be there, but the heart won't be there or the intentions won't be there. Like I believe in your ministry.
Look who's on.
Oh, Sandra's on. This is great. Oh, Sam, if you were here, we'd be tagged. Me, you, and Tracy would be triple teaming this admin team. I miss you, Osama. I haven't even met you. Hear so much about you. Yes, Osama. Go ahead and move to California.
She
I
just moved from
No, move
California.
on back. Your baby will be my niece or nephew.
Niece.
Niece. My baby's my niece. Now, I love your baby. But one thing I will say is make sure that person believes in your vision. So one thing that First Lady and Pastor say, and Pastor will say this, and he said it in church before. You've said it in the podcast. Is that when he stops following God, you stop following him.
Mhm.
And I believe that for your pastor and first lady when you serve them. When they stop following God, I can't, I don't know if I can fully serve or follow you because what are we doing? So be mindful as an admin that you are following someone who is following God. Pray about it. It's not just about having a great personality. If that person is really not following God, then that is probably not the right place for you.
Mhm.
And as someone who's seeking an admin, the skill set might be there, but once again, the heart or the love for the ministry isn't. And there are things that you can like learn. Like I'm learning a lot about Kojic. I'm learning a lot. I love it. It's great.
She loves it.
I really do. I'm learning a lot, but that's a skill set that I
When
didn't.
she goes to the Kojic church, she goes, "Oh, First Lady, I'm getting hot."
My body gets high. Like, this is great. But like that's not a skill set that I had, and that was something that she was willing to like teach me, and that I was interested in.
Yeah.
And so even if the skill set isn't there, but you can teach and kind of mentor and get that person to that place, you might have to put a little work into it because
Mhm.
not everyone will come like fully packaged. I don't think anyone ever comes like fully packaged.
No.
So I think that's also something is just being mindful and also setting those boundaries. Like we have pretty good boundaries. And there are days that we spend a lot of time on the phone. And then there are times where it's like, hey, I'll call you later. Or there are times where it's like, if I'm not answering my phone, she takes no offense. Now, if I don't answer by a certain point in time, she thinks something's wrong.
Mhm.
And my parents will probably get a call. But for the most part, she's very respectful of that boundary that we've set with one another.
Boundaries.
Mhm.
Yes. After a certain time, unless it's something very important, I, I'm not gonna call her. And she
Mhm.
will say, like, First Lady, why didn't you call me last night? It's like, because I thought about it at like 11 o'clock and you were probably asleep. And she's a night owl, and I know she's not asleep. But there
Mhm.
is a time where you need to allow people to shut down, to shut their mind down, and not make everything
Mhm.
about you. Camille, Osama is on here. I have seen Osama be a executive assistant all the way across the country or across the world. You might want to hit her up. But if she come to California, I'm taking her.
Yeah.
Osama, I met Osama through a conference that I was having, and she was an assistant of someone. And I loved Osama, and I have never not been connected with her since then. Like I've always stayed connected. She is a daughter to me. I love her to pieces. I went to her wedding. I was told when she was pregnant. I was trying to get there when she had the baby. Like those type of people
Mhm.
are far few and in between. So hit her up, Osama. Camille is looking for an EA, but she a new mommy, Camille. I don't know if she could do it, but she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. I love her. And Paraggio, if you're watching, you can go ahead and move back to California and come on to the Parks Church. Hallelujah.
10:15 from the temple. Every other Sunday, Sunday school, 9:15.
There you go. So everybody, thank you guys for joining us. I felt like I wanted to do some practical conversations that weren't, y'all know I'm good for a deep conversation, real good. We'll be back with some deep conversations, some real deep ones. No, in 3 weeks. So normally we would have been back on the 15th, but my supervisor's women's convention is from the 15th through the 17th. And so I want to make sure that if you all are available from the 15th to the 17th, every night at 7 o'clock p.m., that you come to Friendly Temple Missionary Baptist Church. The Southern California Evangelistic Jurisdiction is having their 2026 Women's Convention, their 32nd Women's Convention. We are the host church for them, and they are there. And I'm so glad that she's going to be there. We have a musical that starts on the 15th at 7 o'clock, which is led by my best friend, Brand Missionary. Brandy Burrell. And then on Thursday night, we will have the First Lady of Church of God in Christ, which is none other than First Lady Karen Clark Sheard. She will be speaking on that night at 7 o'clock. And then that Friday, our bishop will be speaking. Bishop Christopher E. Milton. And on that Saturday, we will be celebrating my supervisor um, on that Saturday at a prayer breakfast. And the speaker will be, I believe her last name her first name is Sherilyn, and she's a win. I can't think of her entire name. So excuse me for that if she watches this. But come on out. Come to Friendly Temple, 10423 Wilmington Avenue in the city of Los Angeles, California, 90002. On the week of the 15th through the 18th, technically. On the 18th, the prayer breakfast will be at the LAX Hilton. So you do need tickets for that. You can contact me if you want to be a part, if you want to come. If you want to stay at the hotel, it is at the LAX Hilton. You must book your own tickets because it is done as far as the booking of the rooms, but you can purchase a white card. Contact me and come out and support my supervisor. This is her 10th year. This is her 10th year as the jurisdictional supervisor of women. And I definitely want everybody that I know to come out and fill the room for her because I am so, so very proud of everything that she is doing. So until, let's see the date.
29th or 22nd?
We will be back on schedule. I can't even see my calendar right. Look, oh, there it goes. There goes the month. I know how to do it. We'll be back on the 29th on with Nick.
Yes, we will.
We'll be back on the 29th when Nicholas Blunt. He is my guest. I am not going to tell you guys the topic, but it's going to be a good one. And Nick is a musician and he is degreed. I'm not going to even tell you what he is degreed in, but it is going to be a great conversation. Deep is where we're going to go. Deep reaches out to the deep. So we want you to definitely join us. Jazzy, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks
for
having
obliging me and coming on. I told her today that she was going to be on the show. She tries to be in the room with me during the podcast at all times. Sometimes she's at home doing it and I'm talking to her in my earpiece, but she does an excellent job. And I want to tell you in front of everybody, thank you so much for all that you do for Pastor and I and for your church, for your parents, for your family, for everybody. She's amazing in all aspects. So until the 29th at 7:30, we will see you all back then. We thank you for joining us. Never look down on a brother.
Never look down on a brother.
Or a sister.
Or a sister.
Unless you're reaching down.
Reaching down.
To pick them up.
To pick them on up.
Bye, everybody. We'll talk to you later.